Hey, wanted to show you around some of the stuff I've been doing with the stock Unreal water system, shore lapping, getting waves to sort of break, that kind of thing. So I set up a plane level for this video. The landscape has no material on it. The sky is just using ultra dynamic sky, and the waves are set up so they hit the beach from one direction. I don't think I changed too much with the amplitude or anything like that. Might have made them a little bit longer. And I think that's about it for the setup here. So out of the box, the Unreal Water System looks pretty great, but it doesn't have any way to interact with the shore. The water line can't go up and down with waves and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how to do it with a different water body actor to raise the ocean above the water line. The first thing you're going to want to do, you could do this, I guess the order doesn't really matter, but I guess I should show you from kind of the way I found it. Um, I'm going to place a lake body actor right over the top of this ocean, right in the front here. And I'll show you why in a second. So let's do place actors. Oh, great. Let's put this over here. And out of the box, it should look rather weird. Doesn't have any transitioning materials. It's using two different um, waves, settings, so it can't match up the meshes here. Although it'd be really cool if it could. Um, but let's fix this so we can use this for something else. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you play around with this, you'll see that it's affecting the landscape. So we want to get rid of that. Go into the lake, type landscape, and now it won't affect the landscape. But it still looks weird, so let's fix that. There's a setting in here called overlap material priority. Bring this down, and all the weirdness disappears. So does your lake. But we're not using this for another water body. What we're using this for is to raise the height of the ocean where we want it to be. This way it can overlap this shore. Now, right now, if I pull on this, it should just look, again, kind of weird. Yeah, you can see it's actually pulling up the water underneath it. And you can get it to lap over the shore here, wherever you pull it off to, by switching a material setting in the ocean material. So let me do that right now. I already actually have it open. And if you type in VS, it says enable water VS mapping. Click that on. Click this off, and you'll see your weird water tower goes away. However, if I click this lake and move it over to the shore, you should be able to make it start lapping. If you pull it too far, it will display on the shore. Let's add a couple spline points and see if we can make a quick um, little shore lap here. Now, wherever this circle is, it's going to raise the water volume, or the water Z height, I guess. And with this, you can do some interesting stuff. For now, I'm going to tuck it in here. If I click here, let's click this back on so we can lift up the whole thing. Now you can kind of control how much it'll lap. If you pull it up too much or manipulate it too far forward, it will pull in weird blobs of water, which you can kind of take advantage of if you have materials that are going back, can make it look like wave crashing, stuff like that. But if you just want a simple little lap, pull it down till you stop seeing it hit the shore. This also has a big deal to do with the wave settings. So if I go in here and if I change just the attenuation, let's do that. Let's bring it up a little bit, and now you'll see it just gently goes in and out. And if you see some weirdness here, you can pull this back. And you're all set. Again, you could kind of draw this around the whole island if you wanted to. Um, I haven't figured out, and I don't think there's a way out of the box just yet to change the waves into like a circular fashion so they're hitting it at all sides. You could definitely do it with materials, but the Gerstner wave generator won't do that out of the box. But maybe I'll figure that out one day. But first things first. Um, so that's it. Here we go. You might see some weirdness in the water here. You'll notice when it pulls up the mesh, um, the resolution is not that high, or maybe it's because it was never meant to be used in this fashion. You might see some squares and stuff like that. You could always just pull this out and change the shape, or get it so when the wave hits that spot, you don't see those weird seams. Again, if you throw in a lot of foam, which I'll do here in a second, sometimes you won't even see that. Um, so let me do this. We're going to put in the foam now. That comes with Unreal. It uses a runtime virtual texture that the water engine kicks out from the Gerstner wave generator, and it can leave behind a foam wake because of that. I'm going to place I don't know if I can search for this here. No. Let's go into the engine and just type in BP fluid, or is it fluid BP? I think it's fluid BP. Nope. All right. It's in here. So BP underscore fluid sim. Put that in a level, keeping in mind it's just set up to follow the player right now. You could always change that later. If you go to waves, simulate waveform, and I'm going to leave all these settings alone except for this one. You can drive the foam with different water bodies in this system. However, we're going to choose the ocean for now, but I'll get there in a second why you might want to choose the lake. Oops. Let's go back to the outliner. Go into the lake. And let's just hit play here. Nice. We have some foam. Hits the shore. Rolls up the beach a bit. Goes back. And do the same thing again. A little more realistic. There's a ton of settings in the ocean material where you can dial this in more or less. Um, right now it's pretty foamy, but we could back it off with the fluid sim first. You could tone down the fading. Sometimes that's a good start. Sometimes you want to, more foam lingering. And if you want to add some more detail, you can mess around with the power settings. There's a whole host of stuff in here. Um, let's go up to, it's here. I think I had this open already again. Okay, here we go. So if you type in foam, and let's go to it's actually the boost. You can actually do this while you're playing, which is great. Okay, it's a little too much. I usually like to up the macro scale. And let's go to these panners. I actually added to the phone material function. They're okay. Sometimes they're cool. Sometimes they kind of ruin the whole way it feels on the wave. So I'm not really going to show them to you. But I do want to find how to thin this out a little bit. Here's another way to do it. So you could, yeah, this will thin it out a little bit. Now, more looks like a splotchy foam. And again, you can keep working this so it kind of leaves bigger details behind. And if you're using some other kind of foam system alongside with it, which is something I've been working on, it actually works out great. It's more like a macro level detail of foam, and it's just it does some interesting stuff. Again, this is like the mitten scattering here. So if we pull this back a little bit, or we could turn the bias down. And I think that's about it for now. I'm gonna go grab another level, and I'll be back. Okay, here's the level I posted on YouTube, where I got the waves to break along the lake bodies here. This is the project running right now. Just fly over here, show you. See if we can make out some of those weird pull-up blocks. Probably, yeah. But from a distance, or if you just need a short shot, or maybe if you even dialed it back a bit, it looks pretty okay. And this is all stock on real water. The foam is, the water is. This landscape materials from M4. I'll leave a link in the comments. It's great material, especially because it has a beach um, line that you can set in the material so it knows how high the beach is and where it starts, etc., etc. This ocean, again, is pretty stock. I think pretty sure it's set to alpha blend with the landscape. And I wanted a really long, easy slope to make these little waves. Um, I'm going to mention this. I'm actually going to edit in this in the other comment, in the other part of the video, the first part with the little mini tutorial. The foam fluid sim here is set. Just get to it. To use one of the lakes and not the ocean. I think I'm using a wave asset, yeah, for the ocean. And out of the box, the fluid sim can't read that asset. I'm not quite sure why. I think it has something to do with the randomness or something to that effect of the extra functions that you can get out of an asset. But you can still get the foam to run, just have it set to a different Gerstner generator. And if it's close enough, you'll actually get some cool randomness and that kind of thing, if that's what you're going for. This is kind of a choppy day, so it kind of worked out well. But you'll see if I hit play, these waves won't always line up, and they might look weird in spots. But I think I got them pretty close most of the time. And let me show you how I got these to break over this part. Let's see if it'll do it when it's not playing. I'll lift up the lake body here to exaggerate the effect. And it'll hit a wall as there it goes. And then from the shore, especially if it hits it right, it kind of looks like it's falling over. Put some foam on it. And it looks like it's collapsing. Again, that's really exaggerated if you want to, bring it down for a little more subtler effect. And there it goes, little collapsing waves. I think that's about all there is to show in here. And what I've been working on, and I'm gonna pop open another level in a second, is doing some more detailed foam stuff. So I think this is set to some ridiculous setting, so let me do another material here. Oh, but basically, I'm just going to pop up in the other level. What it does is it's smaller, detailed foam that pans in. Um, the neat thing about it is it's tied to the water body as well, to whatever's generating the waves, and it can kind of ride. The foam can ride up and down and do its own thing, alongside this other system. So let me try to do this on camera here. Yeah, it should be good. So you can see this kind of thing, kind of working on getting my water chops up in the material graph editor. Um, Still looks a little bit weird, but basically this is tied into the big waves here, and I can dial them back and forth if I want. So if I click on the wave spawner, go to the material, and you'll see some time bias stuff. So I could push this back or forward, I should say. And you can kind of get them to barrel. Um, you can't really get these waves steep enough. I'd also like to figure out a way I could just impulse one or two waves through here. Um, and I bet you there's a way. But for now, this will do. And over here is more inshore stuff. Water going back, water coming in. These are just pan materials. And again, the biggest thing was tying them into the water system here, which I'm still in a work for progress. So one day I'll do a breakdown of that as well, I'm assuming. Um, but basically, you design them for custom water bodies, and there's the um, Gerstner wave function that you can pull from. And I've been leaving notes in my videos too for all the little gotchas. Like you need a fluid sim in the level so you can attenuate the waves. This is a cool little neat effect too. This is the WPO of the world position offset of the end of one of my foam meshes being pulled up into the air because it's kind of getting removed from the wave because it runs out of room. I did another one over here too. Yeah, this is the same effect. Kind of looks slow motion and stuff, but I could probably get that to speed up or whatever. But it was good enough for now for me. I think that's about it. Again, these. Oh, this is what I wanted to show as well. This is a little trickier. So instead of lake bodies pulling stuff up, this is a river bodies pulling it up. I believe I have this river so wide that you might even be able to see the edges over here. Yeah. Um, that to get the flow maps working, it covers it's like the main material. Um, but it can also do the height trick, and you can see I can pull it up in the back here, bring it back down, and pull it up here again. This is also set to max. That's the ocean here. Instead of the alpha blend with the landscape, it's to max blend, which is really cool because you can make little breaks under the water here. You can see if you make this lower, the wave will get higher, and then as it hits here, it'll kind of break on the part. Again, it's not going to collapse or anything like that unless you set up one of those um, things to do it, or set the landscape up to really drastic. But it's still neat nonetheless. Like if I wanted to dial back the rest of these wave, I could bring up the landscape more so it'll barely break, depending on the attenuation level, which I did here. So you could dial them back. There might be a way to mix water bodies too that I might want to play around with. But I'm more interested in getting the shape of the waves more to my liking. I'd like to get them to curl and anything that's more surfable, that kind of thing, or the more iconic thing. And I think that's about it. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope it helps. Go make a wave.